Okay. Thank you, Scott. Leave it to our comedian,
Right. Because
right?
never say anything unless you're going to get recorded, right? Because you don't want people to forget you. All right. So one of our lenders, we're a broker. So brokers are better. It's like playing poker with wild cards, right? So one of our lenders has two things going on right now. One, 0% down conventional financing with no PMI. Great program, great program. And they this lender is allowing you to stack this with their up to $15,000 closing costs. You only have a $500 minimum investment in this thing. So your client, if they qualify income wise and everything else, um, they could just put $500 into the deal and they could buy a house. That is unbelievable. So anyway, yeah, get a hold of me. I'm gonna put a flyer in the chat and also like a less than 1 minute video link in the chat. But thanks for letting us get on these things and you know get with your agents. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. And next who I see here is Maria Howard. Maria, you're up.
Good morning, everyone. Happy New Year. I think we can still say it, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, yes. Well, I'm really looking forward for 2024. Use 2023 as a learning experience and change a lot of that for 2024 to make it better. So I just want to remind you on the home warranty brochures that we have, remember that the single family residence, those pricing on our brochures are only up to 5,000 square feet. So today on Caravan, there was 3 homes that were over 5,000 square feet. So it's super important that you give me a call for pricing. First of all, you don't want to come up short on your seller's net in terms of what they're netting out on their transaction when you ask escrow to give you a net sheet. And you don't want your buyer to be unaware that he doesn't have certain coverages available of any upgrades that he may have wanted to purchase during the transaction. So again, we go up to single family residence 1 to 4. You have nowadays, there's a lot of garage conversions, there's ADUs, there's casitas, granny flats. Remember to get those additional plans associated with a primary plan, because again, that's an additional cost. It's not incorporated in the main dwelling of the home. So those special nuances on your homes that you're selling or single family residence up to 4 units, make sure you reach out to me for pricing. Just to let you know, we're celebrating our 50th year at Old Republic. Old Republic ORI International. We rang the bell last year in New York for 100 years of being in business. So the stability in our company is there. We're not going away. I'm not going away. Unless I win the lotto, then I'll go away. But until that happens, I'm here to help you in anything I can. You guys make it a fantastic day. Remember to smile, and kindness is contagious. Thank you.
Thank you, Maria. And with that said, I'm not going away, even if I do win the lotto. Thank you so much. Next, who I see here is, let me see. I thought I saw Sage somewhere. Let me see here. Oh, there you are, Sage. You're up.
Well, thank you guys for having me, and Happy New Year. Just a reminder, you are a CRESS office, so if you order a CRESS NHD, it does allow your seller $25,000 in additional CRESS E&O insurance that is special to you and your brokerage. So remember to keep that in mind, CRESS NHD. Other than that, another tip, for the Fortress Fire, you need to make sure on your RPA, are you clicking it or are you deselecting it? Because if you accidentally order it, you may not be able to get your money back. So please look at the RPA, be very, very certain that you do want to order it or you don't want to order it, because it's $140, and on the off chance you accidentally order it, you may not get your money back. So keep that in mind. And if you need anything at all in regards to natural hazard disclosure, I'm always happy to help. Thank you guys so much for having me. And what is that Dolly Parton quote that you said in the beginning, because I missed it?
Okay, so if you're I'll text it to you.
Thank you.
If you basically discover who you are, do it on purpose.
I love it. I love Dolly Parton. That's why I wanted to ask.
Good. Thank you for expressing that. Bees. Bzz. Thank you. So next who I see here is, let me see, do we have any other? I am so impressed. We have so many of our agents here. I also like to welcome Carla Contreras is here. I also like to welcome, Jean, Michael Lu, Sophia Wang. I don't want to miss anybody here, Shanae, Helen. And we also have Connie Baker, which is her first meeting with us. So I like to say, thank you, Connie and Jerry, for joining us. Lorena, and looks like Fiona is on here too, so fantastic. I'm scrolling here. Hey, Drew. Hi, Sharon. And I don't see any other affiliate. Oh, I see. Unita, there you are. Thank you for the spirit fingers. Unita, you're up.
Thank you, Sylvia. Thank you, Calvin. Hi, everyone. Happy New Year. I hope you guys have a wonderful day so far and a great New Year's. I do want to let everybody know we do have a change the brochure for our home warranty. The price does increase a little bit, but it gave you a lot more information and a lot more budget for your bang of the buck. So I just want to make sure that you guys are putting the correct amount on the RPA. One of the items that is this including is additional $1,000 homeowner insurance that be included into your plan if there is a secondary damage on it. So please make sure that you are going to be getting an upgrade program so then the client could be able to get the benefit of having this correct program and benefit of having a home warranty. When you buy too little, sometimes it does not work for them because a lot of time things like not cover into their home. And I'm here to help you anytime, 13 months home warranty. So we still give you additional 1 month free. And, I do speak English, Chinese, Indonesian, and Mandarin. So please reach out to me for a new brochure and reach out to me if you do want to do a 101. I'm here to help you guys. And thank you again for letting me be a part of your team. And thank you for your continued support. Really appreciate you.
And we appreciate you. We're more than a team here. You are family, every single one of you, because we're an agency that cares and an agency with a lot of heart. Thank you so much. I'm going to scroll down here to make sure there's no one else that has signed on that would like to introduce themselves as far as affiliates. So, hi, Michael, glad you joined. So no, is Derek Chen here? Derek was a new person that had requested to be on our meeting, but I'm scrolling here and I do not see Derek Chen from First Citizens Bank. So with that said, I'm going to hand it over to our extremely knowledgeable and helpful and great guy, friend to so many of us, and what broker out there rides to work on a motorcycle? Can anybody tell me? Calvin Chen. Calvin, you're up.
Good morning, everyone. I can't believe it's already mid-January, but I am very happy and excited, rejuvenated and refreshed to be here in front of you and really give you some updates to look forward to in 2024. That's going to be one of the hot topics that I've been hearing from many of you realtors that are stepping in. What are the new disclosures, Kelvin? What's the new revisions on the forms? What are the new laws and legislation that we need to be aware about? So stay tuned. If you're interested in that topic, I'll cover a lot of the material as much as I can in today's sales meeting. It is a sales meeting, so I got to be respectful of your time. I'll have a more in-depth class on these topics that you've pointed out to me. But I'll give you the highlights and where to search if you're wanting to learn more about 2024 and the new things that we need to be really just knowledgeable about. But yes, I am refreshed and rejuvenated. The only reason why to speak to Sylvia, I driving my motorcycle to work sometimes. My car does need to go to the shop and I need to replace a fuel pump and get some parts. So I had to drive my motorcycle in the freezing cold, but I'm tough. And as far as rejuvenated and refreshed, came back from the Bahamas with my family. I'm very excited to spend New Year's over there. I had a great time at the Atlantis Casino. They had a really cool pool area, 2.5 acres of slides and pools that my son was able to enjoy. So it was a really cool experience just to get away and get a little bit of sunshine while the rest of half of the United States is freezing. We're very fortunate and lucky to be here in California. I don't know what you did this morning, but I bet you half of the other country was digging up snow and moving up the driveways just to be able to drive out to go to the market. So we're very lucky to have the nice weather that we have here. Yes, it's cold. Yes, it's freezing in various areas, but hey, you know, our roads are clear. That's a good thing. So let's get into the slides. Hopefully, can someone say yes? You're going to see full screen. I'm going to pull it up. And do you guys see the slides with the little beach up here in the front?
Yes,
Okay, thank you. Appreciate that.
you're welcome.
All right, let's get into this, and I'll click through the affiliates and appreciate all of your involvement. I don't know if it's like the gym or if it's the January setting goals and hey, we're going to go to all the meetings and we're going to go to do all of our exercise and stay fit and healthy. And then 1 month goes by of being trying to formulate a new habit and being a little bit more punctual or being a little bit more responsible or trying your best to gain new business and talk to more people. The affiliates are out there. They're out here coming and doing the business. Man, I walked out this morning and looked outside and we had a line out the door of live bodies and everyone just happy. It's really great to bring people together again. So thank you all affiliates for sharing your knowledge and doing your rounds. Agents, I want you guys to go out and do your rounds too. You got to go rotate and talk to your friends and family, past clients, share some of the tidbits of news that you learned hopefully today or learn from the video links that I've sent you. Because you have a lot of news to share and there's a lot of housing legislation that we should be aware about. So I encourage you to learn from a wide array of resources. And if you check your link below, I sent 2 links in the chat box. And ultimately, one of them is going to be attorneys who teach very good resources of specific topics. So I'll give you a little bit of tidbit of that when I get into where to find this stuff. Let's start with a little motivation, guys. Let's start with a little bit of a happy new year. And this is 2024. Another year and another round of whole new changes will come up. But what you need to know is to have not have to change is the formula of hard work for getting good results. Work hard and keep perseverance to achieve your desired success. And if you reflect and really think about, everyone has a different level of what you define as success. So that this could speak volumes to different types of people and have different type of meaning. But really what you got to do is work hard, because you're really never going to have that gift of a listing just fall right on your lap and then boom, you have a sale and you have a cash offer in the first day and everything's so easy. You know, there are days when those things happen, but the really successful agent that can persevere in the ups and the downs, you should be able to generate business, speak to a lot of others, and really just get good work ethic. And that happens to be talking to a lot of people. It happens to be a numbers game. It happens to be people who attract others, who teach others and educate and really just have that respect. Work on your abilities to talk to others and communicate, because when people learn from you and trust you and start to really look up to you, that is when your success will really begin, is when people really respect your opinion on things. Okay, so just some words of wisdom to look forward to 2024, and try to be a leader, try to educate. Take some of the tidbits and watch some classes and videos and legal classes and this and that. And I can guarantee your clients aren't watching this. They don't have this resource. They don't have those articles and resources that CAR, NAR, and your broker, all of this stuff that we're providing is for your benefit to look shine in front of your clients. So our updated calendar is updated below. So the Zoom links have been updated yesterday. I was able to go in and put in the first quarter of 2024 with the upcoming schedule. So mark your calendars for the bi-weekly reset as we go on. Next week, we'll do training on January 23rd, Tuesdays. This should be at 2 o'clock. I'm sorry. This is at 2 o'clock. as well as other training involved. The Arcadia board and West End Neighbor board does have their classes and calendars on their websites, depending on which board you belong to. You can go to a lot of their free and online classes, and some of them are on YouTube as well, recordings. So you see the associations getting a lot more up to date and being able to provide on-demand learning. So another cool thing that Coldwell Banker is renewing for 2024 is a way to earn referral rewards. If you haven't heard this before, just letting you know, if you do business with another colleague, another realtor, and another agency, if they're not happy where they're at, or they wish to join and learn more about Coldwell Banker, put them in touch with Sylvia, Amy, or myself. Our management team, we would love to have your referrals for any good quality agents. We always obviously look for people who are genuine, people who are ethical, people who are really just have a good head on their shoulders and wanting to learn and do things right. And if you find someone like that and you identify them, you could also get a company referral. It's 1% of their GCI, and it's perennial. As long as this program is available, Coldwell Banker will be providing you 1% of all of your referees' commission payments. So if they earn anything, let's say they earn $100,000 in the next year, you can get 1%, and that's perennial as long as the program survives. So it's just very cool. Just go ahead and you can send a referral link, and then there's a system to do this within your dashboard in Desk. So there is a link for you to do that and learn more about the program, or just ask one of your management team and we can guide you through that. Don't forget, they're revamping the Coldwell Banker University Learning. So when you log into your Desk, there is a wide array of classes every month, and weekly and bi-weekly, there's always some classes on the Moxie product. The Moxie, as you know, has a suite of tools that are available to you for free. It's included benefit being with Coldwell Banker, and all of the other brokers out there who don't have it are jealous of what we have. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, or if you never learned how to use it, you are missing out on one of the best features of belonging to Coldwell Banker. So what is it? You know, just if you want to join some classes, I'll give you the basics. It's a CRM system. It is a marketing area for you to design templates and have automated marketing tools that you can publish, you can post, you can have videos, you can have Instagram and social media, Facebook assets that you can easily, that are perfectly designed for the specific category you're trying to market at. Emails, just listed, flyers, just sold. You want to prospect a neighborhood with the door hangers. All of these items can be put into a PDF. Looks like it's designed by a high professional designer, and it's just done through templates. And the good thing is it's plugged into your MLS. So once you put something in the MLS, you should get an email from Moxie saying your assets are ready. Here, download your flyer. Here's your video. Here's your property website for your specific listing. And you can show your sellers how much work you've done, which is nothing except for click a few links and get your profile updated. And after you've done all that, you can share it with your seller. Look, I'm going to be sending these flyers out. Here, take a look at my website I built for your property. Do you like it? And engage with your clients, engage with prospects and new leads. So if you don't know what this system is, I encourage you to play with the Moxie tile inside your Desk. That's it. I'm going to go ahead and move forward. So there was Gen Blue last year. I'm going to skip this class because that was already a month ago. But Moxie also gives you and your clients a app. So if your client's a buyer and they want to have a specific app to search for real estate, it's all syndicated through the MLS. They can take a search in the Coldwell Banker app. They can put a favorite heart on a specific home and say, hey, Kelvin, I want to see this San Marino home in Adair Street. Great. You actually get a notification that your client is using your app. They're logged in how many times per week. They give you updates that they're putting a heart or crossing out certain potential homes. And that engagement gives you insight into what they're doing, how active they are, how motivated they are, and hopefully it gives you some talking points to re-engage with your clients on finding that perfect home for them. Now, I do want to spend a little time on this slide. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to have a disclosure training. So I gave a link in your charts, in the chat box. And as I click into the disclosure charts, I want to show you what it looks like. So we have an idea and you're not what you call scared to read and open up anything here. So when you pull up the disclosure charts from CAR, there are updated checklists, and many of you guys asked the same questions, and I just want to give you a guideline that where do I go for resource? Well, one is experience, but if you don't have experience, then you can go to the CAR or you ask your broker manager. But here is how I would look at charts. For example, we do have a whole bunch of new homes that have been recently built, and we represent a builder. So that's when I would look at this link here. Here's the disclosures for a new home. Here's a required form. It's the new construction purchase agreement. And then blah, 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 blah. But for the vast majority of us, we're going to be using the sales disclosure because we're doing most 1 to 4 unit sales. So if it's a resale property of existing inventory, we're going to go ahead and check on this disclosure checklist. And it gives you a 9-page summary of statutory or contractually required disclosures if you are using a CAR contract. If you are not using a CAR contract, some of these may not be required, but we do always recommend using a standardized contract for our purposes in 1 to 4 residential. So there is additional information when a specific item is required. Every sale would require a TDS and an SPQ unless they're exempt. And what does an exemption mean? That simply just means, because I get the same questions, it just means that the owner of the current owner of the property has a specific exemption for explaining why they have no knowledge or no material facts to disclose to a buyer. Who could that possibly be? And I'll give you, generally speaking, if a bank forecloses on a property and they now seize a property from someone who is defaulted on their loan, okay, great. The bank is exempt, okay? They have no knowledge of the history. They basically just took their note, foreclosed through a court action, and now, or an auction, and now they have this property and they got to dispose of their non-performing asset, and that they're exempt. That's one example. Someone who is a power of attorney for someone. So that perhaps maybe I am elderly and I am out of this country or this and that, and I appoint a power of attorney to sell my property. Maybe I'm mentally incapacitated, okay? Or I have some sort of, what's that word? When someone's unable to make decisions. Anyways, these people might have an assigned person to represent them.
Power of attorney.
Yeah, power of attorney, or there's another word I was talking about for mentally incapacitated. The person that is now the appointed salesperson to represent the seller has no knowledge to disclose and doesn't know anything about the history or when the last roof was replaced and the repairs that are involved. So they would also qualify to be exempt. Another person who'd be exempt would be a beneficiary. For example, there was a death on the property. The court ordered the sale to go to a beneficiary, and that beneficiary, long lost relative, lives out of state, and they are now the seller. Great. They are also a type of exemption. Okay. So those assets that are transferred in a family in an irrevocable living trust, that is also an exemption form. So this is, as you can see, most of the time, we do need a TDS and an SPQ. Rarely are you going to be having these instances of exemptions. Okay, so understand that you should be answering the TDS, SPQ, and all your disclosures truthfully with material known facts. I can tell you, I always start with my sellers. Answer truthfully to the best of your knowledge any known material defects of the property. If you know there's leaks, if you know there's problems, if you know there's creaking noises in the bathroom or in this flooring, whatever it is, mold, don't be afraid to disclose it, because this is alleviating any potential future liability of failure to disclose or misrepresentation of the property condition by the owner. So to avoid litigation and complaints, it's always best to be honest and truthful on all of these forms and provide detail, explanation, and reports if you have it. But Kelvin, my seller says they're afraid that this will jeopardize the sale. They're afraid that if I tell them about a leaky faucet or some issue, the buyer may cancel or reduce their price. My answer to them is they're going to find this leaky faucet or mold out anyways, because they're probably 90% chance hiring a home inspector. What do you have to hide? It's going to be found anyways. So it's better to be truthful, and then it'll be consistent with the report, instead of inconsistencies or surprises or discrepancies. A buyer tends to be a little bit more skeptical when I find and discover that someone is lying or not truthful, or there's a blatant error that the seller made and checked the wrong box or this and that. I get a little bit more skeptical. But if someone's a little bit more truthful and honest and has explanation and detail, has reports for me to see, I feel a little bit more confident with this seller. And as a buyer, I would be actually more willing to proceed forward with someone who shares with me their history. That's just me. I prefer that. But anyway, so, and if they do renegotiate the price, or they do renegotiate or try to cancel, my answer is it's better to cancel with someone, to cancel the escrow with someone who's not happy with the property, than to close escrow with someone hiding something, and then that unhappy person discovers something. Guess what? They talked to the neighbor. They found out there was a death on the property 1 year ago. Or they talked to a neighbor and they found out that there was growing cannabis on the property. These disclosures, if you don't give it to them and they find out, oh, guess what? You're opening up a can of worms that the seller is going to be held liable and potentially lose a lawsuit. So therefore, you go ahead and answer the truth, because it's way safer to sell to someone knowing, and you can sleep easier knowing that this person knows the history. So you can go in and find every form and disclosure and why, maybe what specific California civil code. If you're an agent that likes to be detailed and smart and explain every single issue, then you go to this form and tell them, here's California civil code of this, speaking why that a broker has the ability to represent more than one buyer or seller on a specific transaction. And you can go into all of these little details and read all of the heart's desire. But at the end of the day, you don't need to explain every step of every single paragraph of the contract. You need to put some responsibility on your clients to know what they're buying, to know their contract that they have put together. And you simply explain more of the overview, the guidelines, the important points, or the specific things that pertain to your transaction or situation. Okay, so earthquake books, you should provide it there before 1960. Here it is. And there's like a whole different stuff that they've revised. We finally have a new earthquake guide updated. It's no longer the 2005 version. So if you check your car forms, we have an updated version of the earthquake booklet too. So anyway, that's where you can find all these 9 pages of understanding of disclosures. If you're a geek like me and you want to learn this stuff. Now, the other portion of the sales meeting I wanted to really point out on was the recorded videos. Okay, so as I was alluding to you in the beginning of the portion, this risk management area of CAR website is great. Every month, there's an attorneys who are presenting a great topic applicable to the current issues that we're seeing. And the great news is you don't have to be present during that time, but if you want to ask questions, you can sign up for these webinars. You can participate. You can ask questions to an attorney, and they'll answer your questions. Okay, you just got to be what's called participate and register for the classes. So whenever I get an opportunity, I love to join them. And I have a relationship where Neil Kalin is my own certified instructor who taught me how to do disclosures to be a certified residential purchase contract trainer. So I learned from them. They have slides and handouts for you to use while you're watching the video. And if you missed that appointment or registration, don't worry, they have the recordings here. Only CAR members are allowed to do this. You cannot technically share this to your clients. This is for your knowledge, not your clients. So you stand out and have the knowledge, and you're the go-to person with, I know all the new and revised forms. So if you want and you need to know the new forms today, go ahead and watch this video right now, because my class won't be till next week. Okay. So you don't have to rely. These guys are attorneys. They teach probably way better than I can. So if you want to know the new laws, and I'll talk to some of the new laws today, then here, Robert Bloom and Justin are talking about 24 new legislation of all the voted and approved things that happened in 2024 that we should be knowledgeable about. Okay. So that link is very simple, Risk Management Live. All right. You guys know where to go. So anytime you have an hour, you want to watch something or maybe go to bed and have something just playing, why not learn and listen? This hopefully becomes ingrained in your head. Okay. You don't have to wait for someone to just, physically have a live presenter in your home. That's not going to be happen. Okay. Sometimes we got to go and go find some great content. So let's get back to the slides, and hopefully you guys see the slides right now. Sylvia, this has a little update for you. It's your turn. Any management updates on your end? You're on mute.
Thank you so much, Calvin. Much appreciated. First of all, feliz cumpleaños to all the January babies again for 2024. And we appreciate you. The new babies, the young at heart, everyone. We include everyone. So we appreciate you. And also, I like to go ahead and just mention, kind of allude, Calvin and I are always mirroring each other. So goals for 2024, come by and see me so we can start a campaign for you to start using your own sphere of influence and start reaching out. I'll give you an example. I started a campaign for myself. I only sent out a couple days ago 6 emails, and out of those 6 emails, I got 2 returns. 1 listing and 1 listing promised in April, and 1 purchase out of country. So that'll be a referral. So if you stay in your client's face, they'll remember, but you need to nurture those relationships, however you feel comfortable in nurturing those relationships. Mark and I just had a beach party and invited 50 of our clients, and all we did was dance in the sand, and it was the best thing ever. It didn't cost much money, hardly any money at all. So I also want to share with you that we're going to be doing a vision board class coming up in February. Look out for that. Stay tuned. And also a Sweethearts Bingo in February. So we're going to have a Sweethearts Bingo in February. And I'm going to start to break down the RPA for you and start going over the RPA just in sections. So those are be mini classes to help you and do that in sections. So that'll be in conjunction with the warm calling that I've been doing mostly on my own on Fridays. Hopefully that someday I'll have some company. And I do have some company when we do. It's great. Don't be afraid of people hanging up on you, and don't be afraid of people saying something that wasn't so nice. Move on. I'll help you build a callus, and you can just dust those things off and just move on. Also, I like to share with you things to keep in mind. So things to keep in mind. You are not a lawyer or a CPA. You can't hear that enough. So don't give legal or financial or tax advice, even if they're your friends. Okay? Even if they're your family members, don't do it. Don't disparage another real estate professional. If you're a realtor, doing so probably does violate the code of ethics. So whether you're a realtor or not, doing so probably violates the code of common sense. If any of you need some help with what the code of common sense is, please come see me. And not every post has to be real estate related. It's okay to go on topic, to share your personality and non-real estate parts of your life. Writing about your passions will make your content more enjoyable, both for you to write and for others to read. So I'll just give you a little example, okay? So share current market conditions. We get that from our broker. You can get that on, verifiable sites. You have the one that you're paying for as a realtor at CAR, like Kelvin mentioned. The risk management is one of the most elite sections that I prefer. And describe a history of a neighborhood. Review a restaurant. Just go around the neighborhood. Interview a small business owner. These are not secrets. These are just things to do. So interview a home buyer, get their permission to interview a home seller. And I have a lot of good information to share with you, but make an appointment with me so I can be mindful and respectful of your time, and I can dedicate that quality time for you. So I leave you with that. Common courtesy in any environment. Folks, please, when someone is on the phone or someone's in a conversation with somebody, don't start another conversation over them while they're on the phone or they're talking to someone. Take a step somewhere and go outside and look at our wonderful trees and have that conversation. Also, I just want to leave you with saying that we are an agency that cares, and we are an agency with a lot of heart. And the more news that is out there, and the more people that are talking out there, and the more people that are out there selling real estate, really makes me appreciate where we're at here today in present time. So don't forget to get to know one of our agents. Pick a name on the roster. I did when I first joined this office. I called almost every single person on this roster and said, "Hi, my name is Sylvia Ramos. I just joined this office." You never know. You never know if or what that person is going through in their life. Don't assume, don't judge, don't size anybody up. Thank you, your manager, Coldwell Banker Dynasty. We love you.
Okay, thank you for honestly great words of wisdom, and really, Sylvia, thank you for all the stuff and wisdom, leadership, and just in getting people excited about something and taking people out to caravan and previewing all the new properties on the market. This is all great work ethic, business kind of things you should always be trying to look forward to and try to set time to really just get more involved. I actually just changed my background. So this is my son right here, Brady, having a time of his life in the world's biggest water park. And just wanted to share that a little bit of what it's like to really just enjoy that youth and excitement and the fun that we all used to have when we were children. So all I can say is I love being a dad, and I love having and for those of you who have children still, don't forget to spend some quality time. Doesn't matter how old or how annoying they get. At the end of the day, love is just it's just there. You just have it. You either have it or you don't, right, guys? So
That's right.
to me, I'm just going to move on towards the next slide and let you see here. If you want to see purchasing power in its real definition, many of us are now starting to see activity on the buying side improve. Number one reason is because of the interest rates. There are a lot of what you call pent-up demand in 2023, in which buyers were discouraged from going and searching and buying a home last year because rates were crazy, 7%. Who knows? They're very, very high, especially higher if you were more in the FHA or low down payment, riskier classification. Now that rates have improved, now we're somewhere in the sixes. We're seeing a lot more resurgence of buyers coming back and interested in 24 to come into the market and buy. Secondly, you also have more sellers willing to sell now, because last year there was a lot of what's called disincentive for sellers to move. What sellers who are in retirement age want to move into a new home that's smaller, that has a higher payment, that has higher taxes, or it has a higher, cost for them to move because of they already have a 3% interest rate. Why would they even, be crazy of them to sell to move into a 7% interest rate home? So now that there is some more improvement, there is legislation allowing sellers to transfer their tax basis. Now that we have conditions in which sellers are now conditioned to understand that the market has flipped in where they can no longer command a crazy price, and now they have to be a little bit more realistic because there is competition. There is other homes on the market that are comparable and potentially priced better than theirs. At this time, you got to just be a little bit more market centric of each of your listings when you price a home. Everything is just dependent upon who else is selling in nearby. Because if you have a property wherever you are, Orange County, Los Angeles County, San Bernardino, you pick your city, you pick your neighboring competition, and you price your property according to your competition. You don't just, set a price and just let it sit there forever just because a seller says, I want this price, and then you kind of just close your eyes and pray and hope someone offers that price. Have some calculations and understanding of what's going on. When you price a property, you do a CMA, know what's active, know what recently closed, get an idea and a feel for why a certain one sold quicker than the others, and you'll get a good feeling what you should price the next property or based upon your understanding of comps. Okay. So when purchasing power, definitely when you drop from 7% to 6%, people's purchasing power now increases. Their monthly payment increases. They can afford to pay more and compete and write full price, for example, on a property, simply just with 1 point interest rate deduction. And as we hopefully see throughout 2024, rates improve, then they'll be even to afford more. So those are good news for the buyers out there. And for the sellers, it's still good news because buyers can afford to pay more and have a higher purchase price for you. So yesterday, they wrote up a new car market update. And if you want to read the full update, you can. But ultimately, the link is here. We're seeing inflation currently rising slightly more than expected at the end of last year. So, but the news and headlines right now in 2024 is mostly positive. There is some overall consumer strength and confidence. Price growth is slowing down. Rates are stabilizing. We're not seeing some erratic things going on. They did kick up a little bit this past week, but at the same time, those home buyers, like I told you, on the sidelines, they're now coming back into the market with refreshed and rejuvenated energy and a little bit more positive hope that they could finally buy this year, because with the rates improving. These are encouraging signs. Let's literally go out there and start 2024 with a good kickstart. Talk to them about improving rates. Talk to them about the resilience of our economy, that we don't seem to be hitting into a crash or a huge major recession. So those are all positive things to build that confidence of our clients. And if you wanted some resources and links into different things that, especially, that we're talking about, I always leave this slide available for some good links that they always update the housing market update forecast. So that's a cool quality benefit that we get as CAR members. And don't forget the school report cards. So if you have children in grade school, you can learn and see what kind of reviews and test scores and various school districts are providing, and they're updated too as well. This is the official California School Accountability Report cards that are supposed to be a little bit better than greatschools.org. Now, there are some new laws related to housing, and this is where I do want to spend some time with you. So I'm going to go talk about the new laws 2024. Let me copy that link real quick. And I'll bring up that slide. 1 second. Okay. So let me start sharing my screen. Sorry, there's buttons everywhere on Zoom. So here we go. Well, effective January 1st, 2024, we have quite a bit of new laws. There's actually more than 50 different laws that were passed with Governor Newsom and all the constituents in California. So we put a lot of legislation related to housing. There's more than 50 things that passed in 2023. I'm going to go over some key points. For example, if you have a listing now, an exclusive listing, 1 to 4 units, your listing can only term can only be less than 24 full months. Okay, so 24 months is now the cap at a listing that you can have. Okay, I'm not going to talk and explain everything. There is some simplification on the NHD report related to AB 1280. AB means Assembly Bill 1280. This is sponsored by CAR. So we're happy to disclose here whether owners are subject to any fire hardening or defensible space requirements because it is in a high or very high fire zone. So if you have a yes to a high fire zone in your NHD report, then they were going to update these NHDs to have, well, is there a state responsibility area? Is there any other additional yes requirements for defensible space that the house needs to have non-ember flame? They should have flame retardant materials that won't help spread wildfires in that neighborhood. Okay, so these 3 areas, look forward to these changes in your NHD reports to have additional yeses or nos for your clients to understand. There are flipper disclosures. So if you sell and flip a property 1 to 4 units within 18 months of when you took title, and then now the seller who's flipped and renovated the home, and whether they did or did not do stuff with a contractor, whether they performed their work with a handyman, or they have to provide disclosures of the name of each contractor and the contact information and the permits that they did obtain, or if not obtained, they used a handyman, the contact information of the third party who can provide the permits. Okay, so this new law should have little effect on the data protection of realtors, but for the flippers, this is going to have a lot more disclosures and kind of just a lot more concerns from them on whether or not who to provide, or they used different vendors. This is going to have some repercussions for them. And don't forget, if you are going to disclose something like, oh, I added some wood and replaced some electrical without a contractor, the seller should disclose these things. Because on the SPQ, there's a question specifically saying any improvements done on the property in recently. And then it says, any things have been done, did you obtain permits, is one of the questions. So anytime you have a no, or you have a yes, I'm sorry, you should provide some explanation, okay? Those are the areas that your seller should be truthfully answering. Online
Question, Kelvin.
notaries. Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you. One of our agents just came in. I guess you weren't able to acknowledge her. Nilofar. Question from her. On the fire hardening disclosure, if a client checks off a yes in a specific area and it requires certain insurance, how should they go about that?
If a seller clicks, if the NHD identifies and the maps identify, it's basically CAL FIRE. They are going to be updating more maps, and they are going to have updated maps that will include additional areas near the foothills and forests and mountain areas. Great question, Nilofar. So in the situations where you have yes answered on your fire hardening disclosure, NHD, your seller has to put yes, then it belongs in fire, and then they, based upon your municipality, certain areas have local requirements and duties for fire hardening / the fire. The fire marshal could come out and help you identify potential defensible space requirements for your specific property. Okay, so then in this situation, if you're a listing agent, I would advise you to tell the truth, find out if it's a yes, there are duties or not duties. If it's a yes and the duties, I would tell you to check the box for the buyer to take responsibility of any defensible space requirements. That's the last portion of the NHD FHDS form. Take it as a buyer responsibility to do these. Obviously, all buyers can do their own due diligence. They can hire their own fire hardening specialist, but at the end of the day, the sellers have a free resource. You can call the fire marshal, fire department, or CAL FIRE to schedule an appointment to give them a free estimate of what are the defensible space requirements. They might say this bush is too big, it's too large. You got to clear this brush because it's combustible to, or it could be this, that, and that. It's spreading overhang over your roof, and that could burn your structure. You want to have a X amount of feet setback from the rear yard from any of this type of material. So you might have to replace some windows. You might have to replace your roof because you have wood shingles and that material is very combustible. So they might want you to go into a tile. So yeah, there is going to be some definite requirements or updates to homes in high fire zones. They don't have to perform them now. They can perform them later, but you can order so the buyers understand what their responsibilities will be to defend their property and defend their community along with their neighbors. Does that answer your question, Nilofar? Okay. Yes, someone said conservatorship. That's Connie. Thank you. Conservatorship is when someone has the ability to make decisions for someone mentally incapacitated. Thank you for my mind.
Excuse me, Kelvin. I need to interrupt you for a minute. I'm just going to have Nilofar sit here so she can chat with you a little bit.
Sorry.
Sure.
Sorry, Calvin. I couldn't talk with my laptop. But the insurance,
Okay, the
is
insurance
that
portion.
house going to be insurable, and is it CAL FIRE insured? Or you said that the buyer is going to put the responsibility to the buyer.
Yeah,
But the
because
matter is,
at the end of the
matter
day,
is whether the buyer is going to accept that responsibility or not. There is a lot of,
Moving parts.
yes.
I mean, there's a lot of moving parts, and everyone is supposed to do your part. Okay, as agents, we're not insurance agents. We can't quote someone. We can't help them apply for it. We can help them find people. So that's the best resource we can do as agents, is find reputable providers that are willing to take properties in a high fire zone. if your question is very relevant and important to you because you probably are dealing with a transaction in which there are many major carriers who pulled out of California, like State Farm and Allstate and Farmers, who are not issuing new policies for buyers in high fire zones, even in non-high fire zones. These carriers may dictate and elect not to insure. So the state does have a program. The Cal Fire, I forgot. Well, hold on, I got to pull it up. So in the event you cannot find home insurance, for example, Big Bear is a great area example of high fire zone. Big Bear is many insurance agents. I'd be amazed if you could find someone, a reputable company who's going to insure your property in Big Bear. The only people that are really when you have a situation like that in Big Bear, one of the only resources we have is called California Fair Plan. It's not we, the buyer has. Okay. So the buyer can go to California Fair Plan and pay for insurance that will satisfy their lender's requirement to have the dwelling insured in the event of fire. This whole fire insurance is because the lender requires it. So what's the solution for high fire zone properties? Well, the go-to backup plan B can always be California Fair Plan insurance. Yes, the premiums are more expensive. So I would exhaust and explore all the agencies I can. What's the harm in spending 1 hour and calling 30 different, 40 different companies? You should be able to hopefully find an insurance carrier. Okay. That maybe it's a smaller one. Maybe it's not a major national brand. Maybe it's a local brand. But the answer is you can help. You can help. Hey, I'll call for 30 minutes. Buyer, you call 30 minutes and you try to find some insurance because California Fair Plan, we know this quote. This is their quote. You can get a quote from California Fair Plan, compare it to everything else that you're going to hopefully find within the local or state or national brands of insurance carriers.
Okay, that sounds good.
I can't answer the question except for this is not a seller duty. It is a buyer duty to find their own insurance. The good news is this is not forever. Like State Farm and Allstate, they can deem maybe 2025 or 2026. Maybe they will reinsure properties back in California. From what I heard, this is more of a temporary thing that they pulled out. Okay. There will be a day and age where some of these major carriers will come back. But right now, yes, our options are thinner than in any other years past. We have very thin options right now. It is a buyer due diligence to do their fire insurance policy quote. If it's a lender requirement, they have a loan, get this done during your contingency period. I don't care if you have 10-day contingency period or a full 17 days or 5 days. This is part of your due diligence, getting insurability of the property. Many times I've heard of non-renewals going out to a lot of owners. Okay, that's a sign that it's going to be tough to insure that property. I'm getting a lot of issues where sellers are saying they tripled my premium. Yeah, they have. There's been lots of claims of the recent wildfires. So now these insurance carriers are trying to recover their losses, charging it to everyone else who has an insurance plan. How do I get out of this insurance requirement? There is one way. If you can't find any fire, you really insurance premium, and you don't want the California Fair Plan, then don't get conventional financing. You have to find private financing. You can take the risk as an owner on purchasing it all cash. If you purchase all cash, you don't have a duty to have and insure your own property in the event of fire. You're just 100% responsible for any potential risk that you are taking. You are taking a risk without insurance. So
correct.
Yeah.
Kelvin, may I add to that? There was a property that was sold, and the agent, the double end, and told the buyer, you do not have to buy insurance because you're paying for it cash. On the same day that it closed escrow, someone arsoned the property and burnt it down. So does that open up for a lawsuit?
Every transaction opens up to a lawsuit. So everything you do, or even if you don't close a transaction, yes, there is liability involved. So the answer, unfortunately to say, yes, that does. And if I were that agent, I wouldn't phrase it, you don't have to buy fire insurance. I would phrase it that fire insurance is, there are pros and cons to it. The benefit of it is to insure your property in the event of fire. And in the because you're purchasing all cash, you have no lender requirement to purchase fire insurance. But just because you don't have a lender requirement does not mean it's not a good idea to have it. Many people who purchase all cash still purchase fire insurance policies because they wish that in the event of a risk of an accident or fire, even if you're not in a high fire zone, anybody could come in and throw a mocktail or a bomb at your property and burn your property down. So if you, buyer, you wish to be protected in the event of natural causes, thunder and lightning striking your property, you should still get fire insurance. Just because you don't have a lender requirement does not mean it's not important. Fire insurance is important for those who want to protect their dwelling. If you purchase this cash and you're planning to tear down the structure next 3 months from now because you're going to rebuild and build an ADU, you don't need fire insurance because you're going to tear down that structure and that structure has no value. So everything is dependent on your transaction and your situation of what your plans are.
Okay, so I'm playing the devil's advocate here. So Kelvin, so you're saying I don't have to buy insurance if I plan on knocking down the building. What happens if the building is burnt down? Does that affect the soil for a rebuild?
Yeah, actually, fire in the soil, those embers do have some positive things for the soil. So if you see a lot of counties where they do agricultural, they do scheduled burns in the yards, and that embers and that stuff does add a lot of nutrients for the soil. But other than that, I don't think there's any negative fire long-term things of a fire on your property. No.
So it's best to protect by using that document on working against broker's advice and just adding on their advice the client to purchase insurance and did not want to purchase insurance.
Then they would be acting against broker advice. There's a form for that where you think they should, they're not, you already know they're not planning to knock it down and they still choose to take the risk of no fire insurance. Then you say, insurance is still important. I still, broker advice is always to have fire insurance policy to protect your dwelling, even if you have no loan. So we still suggest that you explore it. And if you choose not to, just sign this form because this acknowledges that we've at least given you this advice.
Great, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great questions, guys. I'm sorry for taking too long.
Hi, Kelvin. This is Jean.
Yeah.
Kelvin. Yeah. I have a question. Like right now, a lot of fire insurance company, they don't take a new client.
Yeah.
So if I have a listing in the area, is the fire zone where we can recommend or
I have someone, if you want offline, text me. I have someone who is issuing some new policies. They're not a major carrier, but that's one of those resources we used in my recent closing. So if you want someone, they can give you a quote. But yes, they're not renewing new policies, but I have State Farm myself, and luckily for me, I renew all my policies because I still want to have a major carrier. But yeah, that's because I was existing only.
Okay, sure. Thank you.
Okay, good questions, guys. Let's go back to our slides and finish off the. Okay, so does anyone see my screen right now regarding AB 1482?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I want to spend a little bit of time because a lot of you guys have this questions regarding housing, and things definitely have changed in the housing rental market for 2024. So this is one of the most major discussion, talking points, understanding, education that you should know for right now to look forward to and educate your clients regarding rentals. Before the Tenant Protection Act of 2019, formerly officially known as Assembly Bill 1482. You can Google any of these information and you will find a lot of discussion and understanding and specific language regarding the full rules, exclusions, benefits, and duties of landlords and tenants. I'll give you the rundown. Before this Tenant Protection Act of 2019, a landlord can charge unfurnished 2 months of security deposit. If they're a service member, it's 2 months of security for, this is regarding security, for a furnished property. If it's furnished, you can do 3 months. Anyway, this is all old news, okay? Just to let you understand that after the AB 1482 has been updated, effective July 1st, 2024, it comes down to 1 month for everything, security deposit, okay? If all landlords can only charge 1 month security deposit, even if you're a service member, even if it's furnished, even if they have a service animal or a blind disability animal or emotional support animal, you cannot charge any security or additional rent for these type of pet. No, they're not pets. For these type of animals, you cannot charge 2 or 3 months anymore. The one difference, and I'm going to be very clear, is if you are a standard, typical, normal homeowner who only owns 2 rental properties, okay? If you have only 2 residential rental properties, you do not have to follow that specific rule. If you have 2 residential properties or less, yes, you can charge 2 months for unfurnished or furnished properties, okay? Now, if you are a 2 properties only, but you hold property as an LLC, okay, then that is an exemption that doesn't qualify. LLCs are considered to be more institutional or corporate owners. Okay, so that's just the only difference that you need to know regarding security deposits. Now, here it comes to the big point regarding rules, notices, exemptions, and relocation costs. So the 2024 changes, we talked about the Tenant Protection Act, and before April 1st, 2024, and the scenarios after April 1st, 2024, we are combining what's called AB 1482 and Senate Bill 567. These are related to tenant landlord laws that we should be aware of, and everything is depending upon your specific landlord's ownership type, where their locality and where it's located, and whether or not they've given the exemption form or not. Like I keep telling you, it's called the RCJC, Rent Cap and Just Cause Exemption Form. So before, let's talk about before. Before this, all these changes take effect, who is exempt? People who only own a single dwelling, 1 unit. It could be a house, condo, townhouse, PUD. It could be an owner-occupied duplex where I live in one and I rent out the other. Or if I have new construction less than 15 years old, let's say I built something in 2015, then that's a property that's newer. They are also exempt from the TPA laws of Tenant Protection Act of 2019. Okay. As I look into the exemption laws for April 1st of 2024 and after, if you look at this, it's exactly the same. No changes towards the exemption. Yay! Most of us are dealing with single families, condos, and duplexes. So in these situations, owner-occupied duplex, I'm sorry. In these situations, nothing has really changed for the exemptions, okay? But do I have to give notice to the tenant that I'm exempt? Because they have no idea how many property I own. Yeah, you have to let the clients know whether this owner is exempt or not. Every single time I'm looking at your residential leases, especially for everything that was signed as a new lease or a renewal, on or after 2020, if you have signed a renewal or you have a new lease to any new tenant after 2020, every contract should have the RCJC form built into it. Do not use old pre-printed or populated contracts that are non-standardized by CAR. I don't want you using any landlord. Oh, the landlord wants to use this old one that they used 10 years ago. Don't allow them to use that old form contract because it has no discussions regarding this stuff. Okay. So my advice to you, have them provide the updated forms. And if you're using the rent cap just cause and you are exempt, why the heck not are you not looking at the paperwork that your client is doing? Because 9 times out of 10, these owners are not checking the box exempt. And I think it's very important to go ahead and look at that really quickly, what I'm talking about, because many of you are failing to do it. Do you guys see a contract in front of you?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
good. This is my RCJC form. Okay. Look here. I know this is a condominium. It's only unit 216 in Hacienda Heights. Okay. This owner failed to notify the tenant that's exempt under paragraph 3. So now this tenant thinks that they have the protections of the Tenant Protection Act of 2019. They get the protections of relocation fees if this owner asks them to vacate the property. Now, if I'm only representing the landlord, it is a boo-boo on me as a listing agent who's supposed to be knowledgeable and knowing what forms I'm giving and to double check the work that I'm doing before I give it out to a tenant or a landlord to sign. I should be looking for this exemption because I know this is a single unit and I want my landlord not to fall to all the rules of the Tenant Protection Act of 2019. Look for this box. If it's a single dwelling, you should have your client redo it. It's in their best interest. Okay? Any questions? Can you still do it now? Yes, you can still provide an RCJC form if you failed to do it after 2020 and you renewed your lease. Provide it as soon as possible is what an eviction attorney told me. You can still provide it to the tenants. Okay.
But what about they don't want to sign it?
Well,
Kelvin.
then you send it to them unilaterally with the landlord's signature, and they've been notified. If they don't want to sign it, that's another thing. But they have to sign it if you are asking them to renew and sign a renewal lease. Because if you look right here, what's just cause reasons to terminate? Well, there's at fault reasons, guys. Tenants can be asked to vacate if they are at fault. What's one of the reasons why? Right here, look under E. Tenant had a lease on or after January 2020. The request is the landlord says, hey, I want to sign a new lease and I want to renew our lease with you with similar provisions. Hey, tenant, let's sign this new lease. Here's my exemption form that I'm exempt. And you're telling me, Gene, what if the tenant doesn't want to sign it? Well, if they don't want to, if the tenant does not want to acknowledge the new lease terms that are substantially similar, and they don't want to sign this RCJC, then they are at fault. This could subject the tenant to be terminated for an at-fault reason. That's okay.
Great.
Good.
Yep.
So my answer is good. Yeah, their refusal to sign this is a good thing for the landlord if the landlord wants to vacate them for an at-fault reason. Okay?
Sure, thank you. Yep.
Good. That's it. I don't want to spend too much time. You guys have the same document. I hope you read these terms and know the difference between what's at fault reasons to vacate, what's a no fault reason to vacate, because we're going to talk about it right now. Now, most you can see exemptions is unchanged after April 1st, 2024. What happens if an owner wants to use a reason? My reason, tenant, is I want my direct family to move into this rental property. Before April 1st, that landlord, because of if they were subject to the TPA, they would give 1 month relocation assistance with proper notice to this tenant. Please vacate. I have my child who wants to live here. Okay, great. That's qualified individual family. They can get 1 month, and you pay them 1 month. Ask them to leave with proper notice. Guess what, guys? After April 1st, 2024, not only do they have to give proper notice, there's now new language on the law. They still have to give 1 month relocation notice. And there's 12 months occupancy added after April 1st. Because there are very sneaky, tricky people out there who use this, and their child moved in for 2 months and then they left. And then now they released it out to a new tenant at market rate. Okay. So all this does is adds specific language that the relative family member must stay there for 12 months in order for this to be a qualified eviction, a request to vacate. I'm sorry. Okay. Now, who qualifies as an owner family move-in? Who knows the answer? Does a nephew count? No. A cousin? No. A
Blood
parent?
relative?
A parent, child qualifies. Grandparents qualify. Has to be direct line of blood relation. Okay? Cousins and nephews and are not qualified. Any questions on that? Okay. I'll assume with no questions you understand. Now in 2024, there are other changes. We talked about continuous 12 months occupancy for the family who's now going to be able to live in there. Okay. The other reason an owner can ask a tenant to leave is I substantially wish to remodel, demolish the property, rebuild it, whatever it is I want to do. So previously, with proper notice, before April 1st, I just had to give them 1 month and give them notice. And then I can remodel and vacate it and demolish and do whatever I want to do as an owner. After April 2024, the definition of demolish remodel has been added with new language. So I still got to give notice. I still got to give 1 month relocation assistance to the tenant. But the definition means the remodel has to have something in which the tenant has to be vacated for a greater period of 30 days for the remodel. It has to have permits involved for the substantial remodel. Okay, it can't just be I want to remodel and change my flooring. Okay, that's not substantial enough. You don't need permits for flooring. Okay, so a roof doesn't need 30 days, for example. All right. So now you have defined remodeling, demolish in that April 1st and after. Penalties. Okay. Well, if the tenant was asked to vacate and the landlord asked them for no fault and the tenant complained, hey, landlord, you have a duplex. I'm one of the apartments. You don't live next to me. You have to give me 1 month relocation. And the penalties, the tenants would fight the owner. Sometimes they would get them evicted. There's this and this and that. Prior to April 1st, 2024, there's not much teeth to the language and the laws in which the owner, whether or not they give it to them or not, there's penalties involved. There's no teeth going on. Very little enforcement was been done. After April 1st, 2024, if your landlord fails to provide the 1 month relocation fees, or they overdo the security deposits, or they do anything not to the law, the landlord could be susceptible to civil action for damages if the tenant wants to file suit against the landlord for improper notice, improper eviction, or not providing the proper fees. Okay, this puts landlords having to respond in court. Guess what, guys? Landlords don't want to do that. So they should check that box. They should read their contracts. You should advise them if it qualifies as to be eligible for exemptions. My last point I want to talk to you about is local. If your city has a more restrictive rental housing laws in place, or rental ordinances, or eviction moratorium, your cities will override statewide rent control. Okay, City of Los Angeles is one example.
And Kelvin, can the landlord collect the good faith deposit?
Talking about security deposit?
Besides security deposit, another 1 month for the good faith deposit, because sometimes their credit is not that good. So
Okay, my answer to you is, if you're signing this lease after July 1st, nope.
oh, after July 1st, what year?
2024.
Oh, I see.
Now, I wouldn't call it good faith deposit. Don't call it nothing deposit, except for one security deposit to be 1 month. Okay. If you sign a lease before 2024 of July, like June 1st, you can still collect 2 months.
Okay.
Now, and then my answer to you is, before I even give you that answer, I'm sorry, I have to ask you, owner, how many rental properties do you own residentially? Okay. If they own 2 or less, yes, 2 months is allowed. If they own 3 residential rental properties, they have to only charge 1 month.
Oh.
Okay.
So last month still can correct last month's rent?
Never use last month's rent. Okay.
Why?
If you're trying to because the last month could be 4 years from now, and that it could be a greater amount than what it is today. That's one reason.
Oh.
What you should be doing, if you want to collect more monies, because you said this person does not have great credit, well, you're already taking, the landlord's already taking a risk going with someone who has weak credit or no credit. So instead, don't take extra security, you take prepaid rent. You can collect 3, 6, 9 months worth of rent in advance, and then your contracts say rent period from July 1st to September 30th. That's already 3 months of rent right there. And then you have plus 1 month security deposit.
Okay, good. Yeah, got it.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah.
That's really all I wanted to talk about, because I have very little time now. It's 11:30. Any other questions regarding
Boss, I'll make
housing?
it really quick too.
Yeah. Hi, Amy.
Boss, can you hear me?
Yep.
Hi, morning everyone. So yesterday I was helping my client look up on the rent increase for rent stabilization.
10%?
So in my memory, I remember, no, yeah, that's what I remember too. But yesterday when I went onto their website, in December, county passed the bill. They were able to pass the bill to cap it at 4% from January to June. So December 5th, LA County Board of Supervisors approved a motion setting a temporary cap on rent increase between January 1st to 30th for units and spaces at 4%.
Yep. So local city rules,
I don't know how
if
to
more
say you this,
stricter,
but I have it on my
override.
screen.
Yeah, I believe you. So local restrictions, and I already said the city of Los
I can't
Angeles
hear you.
has more restrictions that are stricter than statewide rent control, because you're dealing with a multifamily. You're in the city
This
of
is
LA.
county, so I think it applies to the whole LA
It
County.
does not apply to unincorporated areas. Okay. The city of LA rules don't apply to unincorporated areas. So it wouldn't be under that jurisdiction. But anyway, statewide rent control always says unless the city has a more strict ordinance. So statewide would say a multifamily would be subject to 5% plus the CPI. We all know the CPI was greater than 5%. Landlords were able to do 10% annual increases because 10% is the cap. In your situation, if you fall under the city of Los Angeles jurisdiction, your landlord would only be able to charge whatever that ordinance or moratorium says. If they fall under that jurisdiction, you can call that Board of Equalization and see if that address is within that jurisdiction to clarify whether you have to follow it or not first. But that's a good thing that you / your landlord is looking at the laws before making a notice out. That is 100% good to do.
So Kelvin, we're going to be having a speaker, so everyone knows here, February 22nd, that is going to be so vital to all of these questions. He is going to be a key speaker here. We're going to have lunch provided, and his name is Daniel Ugelson, very hard to get. I heard him at West San Gabriel, and he will be enlightening. So I highly, highly encourage everyone to attend, because city, county, state regulations, they all conflict each other. So that's kind of a very, very gray area.
Yeah, but whoever, there's conflicts, there's different rules, but you have, local, whatever's more strict, okay, is apply. And so it's good to review it, great to ask questions and attend more trainings. Other than that, let's go on to our new listings because it's already 11:30. I really want us to get respectful of your time. Jean, you're here. You leased out a nice little property over here in Chino. Congratulations
Yes.
on your single family at Elderberry Street. Good job.
Thank you.
9132 Arrington Avenue, Downey. Edgar and Carla, they have a new listing over here in Downey. Gorgeous 950,000 single family remodeled. I looked at the photos. It was a very impressive, beautiful move-in ready Downey home. If you have anyone, I know there's offers already this weekend. They probably will have it available. Talk to Edgar and Carla. Annis has a new lease. This is 272 Glenarm Street, Unit 107, Pasadena. If you have a single unit like this is also an exemption. If you have, so please make sure you're doing it. This condominium. Congratulations on your closing. We have Helen Ma, 16397 Spruce Street, Unit A, Hesperia. This is a single family, 2-bed, 1.5 bath. Good job, Helen, closing that. Julia closed this lease out in Azusa. So she leased this out very quickly. I closed escrow with my partner, Elaine. And this is a 2-unit duplex in Pasadena. Closed for $1.43 million, right across from ELAC. Oh, PCC, I'm sorry. And Joe Fung, he closed out in Irvine. This is a 75 Visionary. This 2,000 square foot structure, newer build, 1.49. Jean Chang, you've been busy. You got Turtle Bay Place. This one is sold, 800,000. Great job on closing in Fontana.
Thank you.
Connie and Jerry Baker, you guys have been great. They sold 1920 Niagara Street in Burbank. Nice property, 935,000, single family. Good job to this husband and wife combo team. Jean, you got this one closed, 15412 Sharon Ave in Fontana, 680,000, single family. Sylvia, awesome job. You got this 1267 Briar Glen Loop G Stanton. This one closed for 558,000. And I'm wondering if this mosquito net is included with sale.
No, it's not, but the mosquitoes are.
The mosquitoes come with the property. I hope they just closed on the TDS SPQ that there
That's
is
right.
mosquitoes potentially.
And you know what's really funny is that the seller actually bought me some mosquito repellent, and it smells really good. Lemon and eucalyptus, guys, over at Walmart. It smells great. But I think something happened in the environment because the mosquitoes somehow disappeared.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe they sprayed it or they got rid of that standing still water. You got this closed
Another
escrow.
one.
Another one. This is unit G without the mosquito nets, unit K with the standard
Correct.
patio umbrella. So you got this
Correct.
one closed at 460,000. Good, great job.
Thank
I'm
you.
assuming, did you door knock the community?
Actually, no. Somebody was very angry with their realtor, and she dominates the area, and she bullies the homeowners. And Mark referred this person to me, and she says, "What do I do?" And I gave her all the steps on what steps to take. I said, no bully tolerance. You're entitled to hire whoever you want. She says, she told me I can't hire anybody else. Do you have an exclusive agreement? Blah, blah, blah. So she liked the conversation. We listed one condo, listed another condo, listed this condo, and on my campaign, going to sell her a property in France.
In France.
Yes,
Okay,
on a referral.
cool.
Thank you.
She's really tired of being here in America. She wants to go out of the country. And anyway,
Well,
okay.
Mark and I did also sell her 2 houses on a referral in Arizona, so we'll be closing on those soon.
We got a lease out with Kayla. She leased out this one in Alhambra. Great job. I know she had a couple of leases going on too. Marina, she closed escrow on a long escrow period. 421 Ramona Road, Alhambra, duplex. But very happy to see that she got this one closed and was able to resolve all the issues. Helen closed on this single family. Great job on 927 Asbury Avenue in Pomona. 4-bedroom, single family. Helen closed at 722 Marcella in Rialto, 3-bed, 2-bath, new construction. Gilbert Del Toro closed this escrow. It was an income property at 2106 Charlotte Street, Los Angeles. Nice remodel done here with Gilbert.
Nice Coldwell Banker blue.
Yeah, it's got some blue. It's got an open floor plan. Nice new remodel going on. Helen closed 1930 Twin Avenue in San Gabriel, 3 beds, 1 bath. Great job on that San Gabriel property. And Julia has this leased listing in Brockway Street, El Monte. 3-bed, 1.75 bath, leased out. Good job. Kayla closed in this manufactured home in Yucaipa. 445,000 for this nice little manufactured 1,700. That's pretty large. Henry Liu, he just leased out this Temple City Boulevard. I'm sure you've driven by the signs in Arcadia. I've seen it myself. Gorgeous new construction community, leased out at $43.50 per month. He has some available for sale too, if you have anyone available wanting to be right here in Temple City, Arcadia Schools. 1010 Park Avenue, Arcadia. This 5-bedroom, 3-bath is rented out for $4,800 per month. Cool deal. Big lot. Michael Liu, he closed on 574 Casita Street in Anaheim. Great job, Michael. Sold this condo, $755,000. And Amy Toe and Philip Chen closed in Cogswell, El Monte. Nice condominium, sold for $560,000. Ryan Go, he sold this Chaparosa Drive in Lake Elsinore. Sold at $675,000 for this newer build, single family with a nice 8,200 lot. And Jackson Wong, congratulations. He sold this Vista Street, San Gabriel. Gorgeous home. Great North San Gabriel location. $2.48 million for this nice property. Anna Hui sold this 7806 Toland Avenue, Los Angeles. Single family at $1.45 million. Henry Liu also leased out another unit in Unit A, front unit. For this townhouse, $4,500 per month. Anna Hui sold. This is already sold. Anything coming soon? Any new listings I missed? Anything you have coming up? If not, that's really much the end of the sales meeting today. Thank you for sticking with me. It's 11:40, so I'm sorry it took longer than I expected for today's class.
Good information. Thank you. Feliz
It's
Año
really good
Nuevo.
information. Yeah, thank you.
So I
Thank you.
will have updates on the new disclosures and new forms. I'll try to have that ready by my next training, Kelvin's Keys to Success.
Great. Thank
Okay,
you.
next Tuesday at
Yeah.
2 o'clock.
Sure. Thank you.